This is another Making Comics 101 quick tip, or tips in this case. Greetings, people of the internet. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome, mad creators, to the underground laboratory where together we're going to create some awesome comics. This is Making Comics 101, and this is a quick tip. Now, if you are following this series closely, and some of you might not be, but if you are, you may realize that usually quick tips come out on a Friday, and as I'm uploading this, it is a Wednesday, which is usually reserved for the bonus issues. So you may be saying to yourself, a quick tip on a Wednesday? What, has the world gone crazy? Well, yes, the world has gone crazy, but that's not the reason why I'm doing this. As you know, or probably know if you've been watching, we are covering penciling this week. Actually, I'm breaking this up into 2 weeks because it is a topic that I think I need more time to go over. The first episode was just a little introduction. We talked a little bit about style and we talked a little bit about tools. Now, we haven't got into the fundamentals yet. That will be next week. So I don't want to get into some heavy drawing tutorials without actually presenting those fundamentals. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 quick tips this week and then 2 bonus episodes next week, because the bonus episodes are sort of a longer format. The quick tips are a little quicker, and I'm just going to cover, because we did talk already about style, we talked about tools. That's what I'm going to cover in each one of these quick tips, because there's not a whole lot to say. So I want to get some information out to you, and then next week we'll have tons of exercises and we'll really get into the deep diving into penciling, because it is a topic that needs me to dedicate some time to. So anyway, I'm going to give you some tips, some penciling tips, and some maybe art hacks that have to do with penciling that maybe you can use. Now, maybe you already know about some of these tips, maybe you don't, but I'm going to present them anyway. So let's just dive into it. I talked about my favorite tool for penciling, lead holders. So as I presented in the episode, typically used in drafting, but I know a lot of cartoonists that also use these. They come with these. It's not quite a mechanical pencil. It's a little bit different. So the lead just kind of sticks in here. Now, these require a special sharpener, and it looks kind of like this. It goes in here and then it kind of rotates around here. The problem is, and this is something that maybe you know, but I was using these for years and wasn't aware of this feature, because I would be out and about and maybe say I forgot my special pencil sharpener. I couldn't use any other pencil sharpener, so like, what do? Well, I just sat there on a paper and just go back and forth trying to see if I can sharpen it that way just by drawing back and forth on it. And that can work, but there's an easier way, and that is, maybe you didn't know this, maybe you did, but there is a built-in pencil sharpener right on these lead holders, and it is right here. You can pop this right off here, this little tip, and then go like that, and that will sharpen your pencil. Primarily, I use this Statler pencil, but I have noticed that other brands also have this. I don't know if every single brand of lead holders have this, but this other brand also has it. So at least if you find the Statler ones, they do have that built-in sharpener, which comes in quite handy. So if you're like me, you do a lot of penciling, you may find that you run these pencils down quite a bit. It's really hard to use a small little nub of a pencil like that, but this doesn't mean it's garbage. You can find these pencil extenders, and basically what you do is you just stick your pencil in here, and that will extend it so it can kind of rest in your hand. And it's just an excellent way to get a little more use out of these little snubby pencils. However, maybe you don't have these and you're in a pinch, you got these little pencils all over the place. You can also do what I did, and this is just an old Sharpie, fine line Sharpie pencil. I just took the guts out of it, put my pencil in here, taped it up, and it acts just like a lead holder. Now, in penciling comics, especially if you're using like graphite pencils, it tends to get a little messy, and I'm somebody who doesn't really like all that mess on my hands. That's why I tend to go with non-photo blues, because they don't have as much as the graphite pencils. But in any case, if you want to alleviate some of that mess and that smudging and everything, what you can do is just get one of these little cotton gloves, or the smudge protector gloves that you can use, those little like 3-finger gloves that you use for your tablets. Those work great too. You can even cut the fingers out of these, and if you don't have one of those, a real easy fix is just to take a sheet of copy paper like this and just kind of rest it and move it over as you're drawing, resting your hand on this instead of the actual page of artwork. Now, I mentioned I like to use non-photo blue pencils. Sometimes I will use regular pencils, and sometimes you want to switch back and forth. For instance, a lot of people, they'll do one pass in one color, one pass in another, just to kind of differentiate what they're working on. So if that's the case, instead of having to grab one pencil and an X, just rubber band two pencils together. I got my non-photo blue on one side, my regular graphite pencil on the other, or if you use like color erase pencils, you can get your different colors, switch back and forth. It is super easy, so just a nice little hack that you can use. So one of the more difficult things to draw and draw correctly are circles. Now, a lot of you guys maybe have these circle templates. I use them all the time. This is like a jumbo one. I don't know that they go much bigger than this, but you may need to use a larger circle than what you can get out of this, or maybe you don't even have one of these. You can use a compass, but if you don't have a compass, it's real easy to make one. You just take some pencils, you can rubber band them together, and there you go. It acts just like a compass. And if you don't want to use rubber bands, an even better solution is to use these binder clips, clip them together, that way you can adjust them without having to pull all the rubber bands off. So you may be saying to yourself, Scott, that's all great, but I am a digital artist. I don't use these traditional tools. Do you have any hacks for me? Well, I've got one hack. Now this is something a lot of people are aware of, so if you are aware of that, that's great. But I just want to put this out here because I was using these Wacom or Wacom styluses, however you pronounce it. I was using these for years before I actually realized that in the base of these, this little base of the stylus, you can turn that, open it up, and you've got all kinds of nibs in here, and then you even have this little tool, and what that is, that you can go in here with the nib on your stylus, and that'll grab it, it'll pull it out, and then you can easily put another brand new nib in. And the cool thing is, they're not all the same nibs. They're different kinds. Some of them more have like a rough texture. Some of them are a little smoother. Some of them have a spring in them, so it's got a little bounce to it. And like I said, I was using these for a long time before I realized that these hidden gems were in here. So those are all the penciling tips I have today. Like I said, we will be back on Friday with another quick tip, and then next week, got a lot of content for you, a couple bonus episodes. Plus, we're gonna dive into the fundamentals of penciling. That's all next week, and I will see you Friday for another quick tip. That is all. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Also, you can follow me at Serkworks on social media, and now you can support the work that I do on Patreon. Do you like making comics? Then go to Serkworks.com and pick up the Comic Maker Starter Kit. It's packed full of fonts, brushes, templates, and more. And best of all, it's totally free.